Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ruokun Chen, and this is Jimmz Zhang. And yeah, as you know, we have a studio in Shanghai called Digital Fun. So, and today we're gonna go through some of the applications of kinetic lightings, installations, and laser controls. So now, yeah, and then go through some this technique and design part and share everybody here this afternoon. And then we'll go through some of what happened in a Chinese community. I think maybe a few of you don't know what happened there, but it's like, as Isabella said, it's like incredible increase the number of people there. So, all right, so we will start our presentations. If there's anybody have any questions, we will give some time to talk with you. And okay, so let's go. So anything Jimmy's want to say?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. So I'll give you like some brief agenda for today. So we'll be we'll introduce our studio first, and then kinetic lighting design techniques, laser control systems, and working projects in China is kind of a little different working here, and then design community. Okay, so this is the logo of our studio, Digital Fun. I think the initial reason we use this name is because it's simple, easy to remember, and it's fun, So we make digital stuff not only for like everything tied of everyday daily work, but making fun. We really enjoy the work we do in the past few years. And we do a lot of car performance launches and branding activities for different brands. So, and then we have some strategies for our clients, and interactive development, and also art design. So, and multimedia performance, like the implementations of everything. So, there's a lot of technique and design part on site. Okay, so this is a video, you know what we do. thanks very much. Thank you. Yeah, in the past few years, we have a lot of clients to, in the beginning it's kind of hard, but when it gets, goes through step by step, we've collaborated with a lot of our clients and partners. So, and car launches in China is there's a lot of performance there. So that's what we initially started. And then we moved to some sport brand like Lululemon and Nike, and also some other, the watch, Audemars Piguet, and yeah, like this. And then the Kinetic lighting is the initial, the first where we started. And yeah, actually, I think as most of you know, Volkswagen did this a few years ago, and they did very amazing works. And to be honest, we got a lot of inspired from their team. So if anyone from Volkswagen here, I'll say thank you to you. And yeah, and I'll move to the mic to Jimmz, and because he designed most of the Kinetic lighting stuff, and he will introduce some of the design part, and I'll introduce the technical part later.
Hi, I will introduce more about the design side and also a little bit tip for the design Kinetic lighting. So first, usually the pipeline will begin with the side tool. So we make sure the space and calculate how many lights we need. And we also test the hardware in the factory. And then we begin to think about the ideas. We do the ideation, and also we design the motion and the colors of the lighting. So we do the pitch to client, and there are some back and forth process here, and then we move to the production. And at the same time, we begin building the software systems in TouchDesigner, and then we combine with all the assets, and then do the integration with hardware. And we test the stability and then move on site to make sure everything is fine for work. So basically, we will design the shape and make sure the order of the number of the lights is what we exactly need into the export to the physical hardware. Then we use Sigma 4D to visualize and also make sure our design, each vertex point of the mesh of the lighting is correct. Then you can see we use the mode graph to do the animation use the mode graph to do the cloning and apply some effects on the cloning to make sure it's we moved for the kinetic lights. And then back to the editable object and back to the animation. So in another side, we use After Effects to design color of the lighting. So you can see there's two maps. One map is exact the location of the lighting. So we usually designed the color, the animation on the first map. And second map, we relocate the pixel of each light and make sure the layout will be exactly the same order which we export to the TouchDesigner. And then Ruokun will introduce about the technical side in TouchDesigner.
All right, so I'll go back to the preview. All right. In the technical parts, we spend a lot of time developing and figure out how to communicate with the media server and also how to control the light. It's not easy to figure out the way to integrate all the systems. And in this Kinetic lighting installations, we have 4 parts. Main parts is the time codes, Kinetic lighting animations, visual animations, Art-NET outputs. And yeah, and I have to give a big thanks to TouchDesigner. And without TouchDesigner, it's impossible to have anything in the last videos because all of the projects are mainly on TouchDesigner. So thank you very much, and TouchDesigner guys. And yeah, okay, this is the first time I hear in Montreal. I should hear a few years ago, but yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is the user interface. It's not that neat, but because this is just what we use, we don't really need to show it to our clients and the audience because that's where we clicked buttons, and there is a like monitor. See, everything is in a palette. It's very useful. And also, this is the time code. Time code is kind of like audio signals. So we get it from, usually we work with disguise and watch out. So we get a time code here. And this is animation and movie, two different big parts. When we get a little bit deep to the editor, so we have here, this is the time codes, and we'll go to time code to sync the visual part and the movement part. So as Jing talked about, he designed two different parts. Animations in C4D and movie in After Effects. So they will go to another converter inside it, and then I will show you like how they calculate in this patch, and then go to the DMX output. And time code is kind of, it's not a lot of use before we really start this kind of performance, because it only happens when you need to sync with the other media server, like the watch out, disguise, green hippo, like that. Because I have to say, in that kind of performance, they are provided by the audio and visual rentals, so they're always the guy who played the video. I know TouchDesigner can play, but usually they control all the videos, so we get a time code to sync with them from them. And then we have like the Kinetic animation controller, so with different sections. So okay, so direct says, okay, we are gonna start the first one, and they will switch to which one, then the data will go directly to the next patch. And this is what it looks like. Actually, when it output to the final one, before it really start on the real scene, you can hardly tell what it is, because everything is reordered in an image. This image is the pixel image, so you can see each pixel is mapped to one LED light. So we create everything in what Jim showed you just a moment ago, and then everything will reorder into such a map, and then each map has like RGB, so each RGB will convert to 3 channels and outputs. So this is what it looks like when everything is imported to TouchDesigner from C4D. You see the small dot? That's the position of each kinetic light. And then there's an interesting thing is we use GLSL to calculate everything because it's much faster. And even the movement, it's like output the chop data. But I have to say, in most times, as the data, the number of data is too much. I will show you. There's one we use 40,000 channels to calculate everything, but it's kind of hard because of CPU limitation. So we convert everything to top and calculate in GLSL shaders, and then output as an image, and then convert the image to chop data back, and then send out to our hardwares. This is the last part. So see that this is the image. You can hardly tell because it's like the position, the speed, RGB. Each column represents one values, and then we use like a top to chop, and then send everything out. So that's how the technical concept is, but it's very interesting because I think, as far as I know, there is no other teams in China can control this kind of kinetic lighting precisely, and because they don't know TouchDesigner. We're lucky to only, not many, but yeah, to get to know how to do that in a TouchDesigner, and that's how we do that on site. See that it's like kind of we're testing there. And then we have testing on the user interface, and this is the biggest one, as each each tube has 24, I think. Yeah, 24 LEDs. So each LED has 3 channels. So it's like 32 channels for each tube. So I think we use 72 IP address and 40,000 channels for that one. And later I will talk about something interesting things because, yeah, it's like hard. You don't know what will happen in this kind of very complex project. So, and this is what it looks like when we control the whole system. It's fun, you know. Just tap and everything changed in front of you. And this is what we just did 3 months ago. We did that for Honda. This is what, you know, we convert everything, Jimmz designed everything in a previous slide and then convert it, to this is the real what it looks like. Okay, so I'll move the mic to Jimmz, and he will introduce some lasers, and I will control the lasers to simulate the laser control here. Okay.
Yeah, this is a project for Audi A6L launch event happening last year, December. So basically, this project we do the laser control and simulate the laser projector with the video content together. So also, I will introduce more about the design side. Yeah, so the pipeline actually is a little bit similar to the kinetic lighting. But in this part, we will more concerned about the space to install the laser projector and make sure the laser projector surface will be aligned with all the video content. And also, we will test the laser machine to make sure it's totally stable and in TouchDesigner. And this is how we make the laser works. So you can see in the left side is the real thing in the laser animation. In the right side is the Cinema 4D or simulation. There's like a couple points move. It's like the data we will export from Cinema 4D to the TouchDesigner. And in TouchDesigner, we will simulate the exact movement and the project outside.
Okay.
And, yeah, back to the technical side.
Yeah. So initially, the tech guys, but they shared a very similar concept of using kinetic lighting, but we use EtherDream here. So in here, we when Jimmz did all designs in C4D, and everything will convert to After Effects, and to convert everything. As you know, we are tracking the image. So the video is playing. We use sync as we talk. We use the timecode to sync everything. So the laser will tracking what happens there on the screen. And this is what it looks like initially as a model. So this is like 3D space, and we convert the 3D space position to 2D space and use it as output, and then send the data to EtherDream, and they will know where it should reach. And monitor as well, everything. And yeah, and this is kind of so we have like 6 lasers. This is the previous one we did for Buick, and 6 different lasers. Each laser has an EtherDream, you know. And then in each lasers we have like 3 different scenes, and each scene you see the green line and the purple line. So it's, you know, that's the animation and the cutter. So you control the, okay, this is the position. I'll control the position and also the color of that dot. So it could be like red and blue and green. So it depending on the image, on the design. And the same, so everything C4D, everything After Effects, you don't know what it looks like as everything will convert to pixel map. And here I would say thanks, big thanks to Yasu-san. Yeah, it's Yasu here. When we did the A6L, I think it's at the beginning of this year, like it's when we did that, it's midnight there in Canada, and Yasu was like, I'm so tired, but I will help you to figure it out. And yeah, and then we finally figured out the most important, that's the laser calibration. Laser calibration is different from the corner pin because there is a corner pin in top, but there's no corner pin in chop. And laser use chop, right? So everything has to use, I think I spent like a few hours because everything starts the next day, and I haven't figured out how to do it. So that's the good thing, we have the community, right? So I'll talk about community. And then Yasu help us to figure out how to write this. So we'll convert all of the dots, and we use, okay, here, say, we use this kind of like top corner pin here to decide the 4 pins of that screen. And all of the dots inside that area, like for example, like inside area, no matter you put the project from this side or that side, okay, all the image, so we will locate those 4 dots, and everything will be fine in the recalibrate in this area. So everything should be fine, and then we go to the launch time, so it looks like this. So lasers, images, so no, it knows when it starts, it knows when it is, and trace the image like that. So yep, that's mostly the technical part, and launch time, it looks what it looks like. So it's a U-shape space. So yeah, big screen at front, and lasers trace that. It's kind of like, and also, it collaborate or it play with the lights. We designed the light as well. So that's the LED lights. Yeah. All right. So then I'll give the
I'm
back to Jimmz about the project in China. Everything's in China.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to have projects in China because everything seems very fast, but actually it's reliable because many teams work together and they keep everything constant. And also they provide like reasonable budget for each project, and because the cost of the crew and the hardware is relatively lower than usual. You can see on the car launch event, it's like massive stage. So usually the scale in Chinese projects a little bit huge. And we also have many populations, so the audience is also kind of large, and we have larger than 10 million audience. Sometimes they watch on live, so that's what Ruokun mentioned in last year's our TouchDesigner forum in Shanghai. And also, like the market in China, it's also largest for the auto industry. And also have a group project, and in China, it can be a good portfolio to have a good platform to promote yourself or studio.
Yeah, it's just one word. If there's what happened there with Teen Lab in China, you'll be amazing of that. And then also, I think White Void did with Zhang Yimou's show there. It's kind of one of the most popular one in China as well.
Yeah, but also the limitation of the time is become obstacles. Usually, like 2 weeks, we have to finish a project, like the car launch event. And also, at the end of each project, the client keep coming and have more requirements, so they have like extra demanding for in last minute.
Yeah, if you believe or not, we got the shortest time is 5 days to complete the show. Yeah, so, and then nothing, so 5 days give you and give you back a show. So that's what we're gonna do. So it's kind of like a little bit busy, but when it's gone, everything.
Relief.
Yeah, we so relax and enjoy the show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we use TouchDesigner because it's very flexible and last minute change.
Yeah.
And also, like for some strategies for us is we usually do many preparation before a show. I mean, 2 weeks for the process of show, but before the 2 weeks, we do many preparation. Especially, we do many templates in procedure, so we can just take in data and make something new and deliver to client. And also, communication, I think, is really important because we have a team, and we have like the client, and we also have the stage director. So how to balance 3 of them is kind of very tricky, especially last minute, like how to convince client this is somehow the best solution. Okay, and I think the documentation for us is also very important because we analyze and review like any like errors we made, but make sure next time it's totally perfect. And we do the video and the picture put into our website for our promotion. So the documentation is somehow also very important to promote yourself in China.
Yeah, it's quite important to have like prepare everything, and then actually, we have 5 days, but before that, we may have like 50 days prepare for something new technologies and figure it out to make it stable. And then if the clients come, the clients can't, they don't know the technique, so just come and say, you please do this. Okay, so I have this technology ready for you. So that's why we communicate with our clients. So we spend a lot of time on the research part. And then also they want the last minutes. I think TouchDesigner is so popular in China that's, during the stage level, because everybody, the director knows TouchDesigner can handle everything at the last minute. So
yeah, literally last minute. Like level 1 shows in like 2 hours before the launch, and director asks us to change the lighting. Like many
you know
things
what?
Later.
He's talking about this one in Guangzhou. We have 40,000 channels, right? And then, so because everything has to be in order, because we already matched the channel to specific lights. But the vendor comes, talk to the director, says, sorry, I think I lost one cable in the middle. So they mismatch the left 20,000 channels. Okay, so director come to us, so could you fix this? Please, because this is a show. Say, no problem, TouchDesigner can fix that, right? Just getting 2 empty channels in between and makes it like a new channels. Yeah, and it saves the show, and the director's so glad to know, at the last minute, there are 2 kilometers cable on the roof, and they just can't figure out where is the lost one, so they just gone. And so, okay, TouchDesigner. An interesting thing is when the director called us, sometimes they don't call us digital font, they call us TouchDesigner. So we're not TouchDesigner, we're digital font, but they just go, hey, TouchDesigner, come and help, like that. So yeah, that's what we have sometimes, stage. Yeah, and then there's some TouchDesigner Chinese community. That's I think another most interesting thing in China. And as you know, there are some internet problems in China, so we try to set up a new community to most Chinese users. Currently, we have, for example, we have the WeChat group. I don't know if you know WeChat. It's like communication tools and trading tools. So we set up a group. So there are 800 people there every day talking about TouchDesigner techniques. And also, we have the TouchDesigner Chinese website. There are, I think, more than 30, 40 tutorials. There are not as many as those on YouTube. Or try to, we record all of the tutorial, and big thanks to Matthew Reagan and some of, I don't know, I can't remember all of your tutorials. We have a big resources area. And because of them, because of you, we create such a big site for everybody to learn TouchDesigner from the basic to intermediate. That's why, at the very beginning, we spent 4 years on this website, and yeah, and it's now like every day. I think in the past 2 months, we have 10,000 people watch on this. We have like data. Oh no, it's like 5,000, right? In the past 3 months, in the past 2 months, 5,000 people click this website. And then, are you here? Okay, wherever. Yeah, and then we translate his book 3 years ago, and that's all of our guys from Chinese TouchDesigner. We have some friends, maybe here, and we spend like a month to translate all of his Introduced to TouchDesigner book to Chinese. And now it's available to download for free on site. So that's something we're trying to do. And also we do like education demands. There are a lot of education demands. Like this is just a regular meeting salon. We don't call it like a big forum, but there are always a lot of people. Those are students and students working. So now we try to work as much as we can to help people to set up the workshops, to have the educations, for students. And we are not like charged for budget, and most of them are free. I think it's time. I think when you start something in China, the community, the concept is to share, is not to make profit. So this community is a non-profit organizations in China. So, okay, all right. So I just put out the big secret. That's the second designer textbook is coming soon. Yeah. So this is the, I don't know if you know, there's a book from Japan, and that's design textbook. This will be the next one. I think we have some.
Yeah, let me share some more information.
Yeah, some more. And this book is like standard page and two standard pages book. And you will release in the next 3 months in China, and all of the Chinese users will available to get access to it online and buy it. So everything, TouchDesigner, the only thing is that everything has to be printed in color, right? So yeah, it's kind of like when we ask for the budget, okay, the printing, the publish guy says, okay, it's kind of more expensive, I was sure, to have it printed color. I said, yeah, definitely, TouchDesigner has to be colored. But it's a good thing, there's a lot, I think, thousands of people waiting for this book for a long time as we set up the community. Every day, a lot of people ask what happens of this book, and they're waiting for this book for a few years. So when we have this book available, everything will be in Chinese. We have, I think, yeah, is that there?
Probably can share after we finish this talk.
Yeah, I think it just, yeah.
It's fine. You can keep talking.
I think there's some. Yeah, that's a PDF. So now we have like complete 2/3 of the book, and we are not trust anybody to design the book. So all of the graphic design, the editing, we create all of the tutorials ourselves. So I don't trust anybody else to do this, and I treat it, not me, but all of us treat it as artwork. It's not just a book. So everything is very ready, to read. And of the pictures, we have the colors, the explanations of each comp, and what each function means, and some tips. There's some kind of tricky tips people should know. So yeah, so in a few months, a lot of people will get access to it. If anyone would like it, I think next time we'll bring it one here and share with you guys. Yeah. Jim, you want to talk something about this?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks to Jim. He is the designer, the art director as well in our studio, and he's responsible for design of this book. So yeah, and thanks to his endless work every day. Yeah. Okay. Oh well, you don't want to show something. This book.
Oh, okay. So this book will introduce from the beginner level to the intermediate level of the TouchDesigner tutorial. So it will be covered like image processing and particle instance, also as well as go to the hardware side, like from Kinetic connection, motion, and also we will have the part for the interface design, VJ system. Also, we'll introduce like TouchDesigner community around the world, so it's covered most of the knowledge and information about it.
Yeah, we carefully designed each tutorial to make sure all of the tutorials covers most of the components. So, and also from the very beginning, from the basic to the intermediate level. So it's like step-by-step book. So when you start read it, you will know something easy at beginning. So you won't feel so difficult. I want to TouchDesigner. So easy at beginning, but you start to learn a lot from these explanations of each component. Actually, we try to translate all of the wiki 3 years ago from derivative, but yeah, you know, that's big. At that time, I was only one, and there's another, there's other members, and I think there's one, Yujie. She's here, and at that time, we translate already a bunch of the components, but I think we can't catch up with the speed of the Marcus and kind of create so many components, and we can't catch up the steps. But eventually, and in the past half year, we are 4 people full-time working on that. So, and then create this book. Yep. And something more about TouchDesigner Forum. It's better just talk about what happened. That happens last December. We are not realized they are so popular in China. And before that, we actually been and don't know how many people, you know, exactly in China. And this is the some of us that take the pictures, and you know, Ben's here. And when we start, I think, okay, so let's just take a short look of this. Yeah, that's last December, and it's fun when we started. Actually, open the, that time is like we don't have like a lot of time to prepare for that, so we have like 4 days to open. You know, we open the registration website so people can register it, and I think that the first night I got 200 people registered, and in total we got 400 people registered for this forum, and I only have, I think, less than 200 seats, so that's why you can see a lot of people stand behind, and we're so sorry for them. So, and the amazing thing is when we have the opening ceremony, we have a live, and we got 7,000 people watch on live when we have the opening ceremony there in China. So, you know, I know some of you like can't believe that, but it's true. We got the data from the media support, and we have like more than 400 people registered in 3 days. So we have to close it because the number is increased too fast, and there's no enough rooms for everybody. And we got people from not just China, we have the audience from Singapore, Malaysia, and we have also the talks. It's like, we kind to make it like international, global, so people from Greece, Russia, Japan, Canada, and China, we get together and communicate and talk and meet up. So that's what we do, and we have 5 workshops, including bands one and different artists. So for all TouchDesigner users. And also the audience is a little bit different from the summit here because the audience in China is like from different areas, from the educational industries, from the AV vendors, and from the content design studios, and even the agencies. So they just want to come and see what TouchDesigner can do. It's like a new tools for them in China, and everything surprised them. So that's why we think we'll have the second TouchDesigner festival coming next month, Shanghai. So there'll be happens, and there'll be the bigger one. And yes, it's very exciting. And Jimmz will move to Jimmz, and he will introduce some of the next one.
Yeah, in this festival, besides the workshop, we will combine more exhibitions element inside. We will also have an opening presentation. We will have many guests, like we already have, like Jimmz Zhang will come as well. And also, like the organizer, besides our digital fun studio, will invite the Japanese community, TDSW, come to China as well. They will become our co-organizers to host this event.
Yeah, I think with the Japanese community, there's a very great community there. And China and Japan will create a huge community in Asia. So, and we have like more communication because it's so close to each other. So we have more communications, more events. And before that, we have like Touch Meets Notch event. That's this April.
May.
Yeah, this May. And then Yuki from Japanese community, and they have a team come to us, and we have like a big not a big, but interesting celebration. And because we have like only 1 week to prepare for that, 2 weeks.
1 week.
Yeah, that's because Yuki will visit us and say, okay, I'll do some interesting stuff. And we have 2 days to have 200 people, audience, to come and register for that event. And it's, wow, that's amazing. And TouchDesigner is getting better and better known in China. So that's why I think we should build a bigger community in Asia to make it like a better understanding of each other and share everything, share open source, and we make the community bigger and support each other. This is our concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also we have many like support from academic side and also from hardware side, and like we have support from UBC and Tongji University, Shanghai Institute of the Visual Art. We also gain the support from hardware like the projector from Epson and the site from Hewlett, and it's a local TV production company in Shanghai. And we have support from the robot arm and the laser machine from local distribution.
Yeah, and we are very impressed that when we say we're gonna have this festival, okay, thanks. We're gonna have this festival, a lot of vendors come to us and say, please let us help you, and we'll provide our hardware. That's very impressed when we start to prepare everything. A lot of sponsors come to us and want to help because they get a lot of help from the TouchDesigner. That's the back and forth concept. Yeah.
So this will be our exhibition site look like, and we also, it's around like 1,000 square meter space, and there's a truss on the top so we can handle projector and for our setup the exhibitions.
Yeah, we have a few exhibitions there.
So like we will have the robot armed simulation in TouchDesigner, laser machine with the audiovisual performance. We'll invite TDSW for one of the like paper crane lighting project, and also we will invite Noop studio from Japan to have like this great piece of work, the divers. We also will invite like the Satura-san come to China for the audiovisual performance.
Yeah, hope like one day, there could be like such a big community get together happened in China and happened in Asia. So that could be like more easier for the people who from the other side of the earth to know more about TouchDesigner. And there will be some hopes, and we want to provide more events and workshops and more people to participate. And there's a lot, I think there's more than 10 universities starts to teaching TouchDesigner in China. And then, yeah, that's why we provide a textbook. And then we want to collaborate with more other third-party vendors. We have one with Blackchecks and the Noitum, I think Richard is working on it. And then Notch as well, the biggest, one of the biggest ones. So, and then in the future, annual festival, TouchDesigner Forum, and by the end of 2020, I can like possibly to see there will be like possibly more than 10K TouchDesigner users, or saying the amateurs in China. So that's what we could expect it, and hopefully one day there will be like another summit. We could celebrate everything in Asia, and yeah, and more people to know what happens in China and in Japan and in Asia. Yeah, so that's mostly what we have today. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ruokun and Jimmz. I really appreciate your establishing single-handedly the TouchDesigner community in China. It's amazing what you've been doing in such a short time. I don't think we have time for questions, though, unfortunately, because we got to. Yeah, okay, we'll take a couple. Yeah, okay. So we'll start the next one a little bit late. Any questions? No. I see one. Okay. Do you still have tickets for the festival in China and Shanghai?
Actually, we haven't started the tickets.
Yeah.
And we hide some tickets or save some tickets for anyone, if you guys, anyone are interested in it, and if you have time to fly to Shanghai, you'll definitely get there's no live video now, right? So only us know that.
Yeah, only
right.
us.
So just let us know, and I will give you a pass, so just come and feel free to visit.
Great. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. That's wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.